Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Liz Bishop. The presidential candidates are back on the campaign trail today, and Republican Mitt Romney has a spring in his step. Most analysts and voters agree that he won last night's debate against President Obama. It was the first time the two rivals had faced off. And as Tara Mergener reports now, even the president's campaign admits Romney came out strong.
Mitt Romney set the debate tone early.
Under the president's policies, middle-income Americans have been buried.
Energetic and aggressive, Romney slammed the president's economic record and laid out his own plan.
There'll be no tax cut that adds to the deficit. I want to underline that. No tax cut that adds to the deficit.
But the president repeatedly insisted that Romney is calling for $8 trillion in tax cuts and spending that cannot be paid for without adding to the deficit or burdening more middle-income Americans.
It's math. It's arithmetic.
The president also criticized his opponent for not providing more details about Wall Street reform and health care.
At some point, I think the American people have to ask themselves, is the reason that Governor Romney is keeping all these plans to replace secret because they're too good?
Privately, the Obama campaign is conceding that Romney's extensive debate preparation paid off at a time when he needed a lift.
Many viewers saw a president not at the top of his game.
He seemed a bit nervous for some reason, almost that some questions threw him off, and Mitt Romney seemed to throw him off a bit as well.
But not everyone is giving the win to Romney.
Obama he was more comfortable with his ideas. Romney was working a bit too hard, trying to convince people because he's down on the polls.
The president and Mitt Romney square off again 2 more times. The next debate is a town hall style event in New York. Tara Mergener for CBS News, the White House.
And the vice presidential candidates will debate next week in Kentucky. Well, how big a win was it for Mitt Romney last night, and what can we expect going forward in terms of his polling numbers? And how much pressure is he under now to maintain the momentum going into his next debate with the president? We put those questions now to our guest, Dr. Don Levy, the director of the Siena Research Institute, joining us from Albany. And thanks very much for being with us today and giving us some insight into what happened last night.
Always a pleasure, Liz. Thanks.
All right. Well, you know, there was a CNN flash poll that showed 67% of the viewers gave the debate to Romney. Does that goodwill fade, and how much of a bounce would you expect Romney to get now?
Well, we're all excited to see how much of a bounce it is. The last several weeks, really since the Democratic convention, we saw the president starting to pull away, especially in those all-important swing states. With most of the voters right now saying that they think that Governor Romney won the debate, we're going to have to take a look at those next round of polls in the swing states to see if those numbers have tightened.
We've been hearing a lot about style in this debate. The president's apparently somewhat sour demeanor, his failure to make eye contact with Romney, his less than vigorous defense of his 4 years in office. Is that what people take away, or do they wait for the fact checkers to come in? What resonates with them?
Well, there's really almost, you could say, 2 debates. There's the debate that actually took place, and then there's the conversations like the one that we're having right now. Anybody who missed the debate last night is going to hear the ongoing discussion in the press with their friends, and the discussion right now is that Romney exceeded expectations, and the president really didn't live up to expectations. So those all-important swing voters, which really is a very small slice of the electorate, that's who everybody's after, and that's who may very well have been affected by last night's debate.
If the president has a good second debate, does that even the playing field, or is there some magic to getting off to a good start?
Well, I think that Governor Romney needed to win this debate last night, and according to most folks, he did. What comes next, we don't know. Certainly we're going to see a reaction from the Obama campaign, both in terms of their advertising, the way they run their campaign, and how they respond in the next debate. By no means is this thing over, but it really does feel to us as though it tightened last night.
And the next one is a town hall meeting style. How does that change the dynamic?
Well, a lot of folks say that the style last night is a style that suited itself a little bit more to Governor Romney than it did to the president. The president seems to do very well in those town hall settings. People feel as though they can relate to him. That was some of the comment last night. So there's a chance that the president may do a little bit better in the next style.
Well, we thank you so much for your insight today, and hopefully you'll be along to fill us in on your reaction to the next one as well. Dr. Don Levy from Siena Research, thanks so much for being with us today.
Absolutely.
All right.